was obviously a bit of a nervous decision that we made, picking up the family, bringing them to Queensland, where, to be honest, I hadn't been to Brisbane since about 2008, and my wife had never been to Brisbane. I guess it was a nervous decision, especially with the kids starting school, Coop going into grade 4, Chase starting prep. Yeah, picking them up away from their mates was a bit weird, but we're in the same area in Melbourne for over 10 years. So our kids both went to the same kinder. Coop went to school with all his mates he went to kinder with, and then they'd also had siblings who Chase was friends with. It was pretty comfortable. We had a good group of parents that we sort of were really comfortable with. So to sort of pack up and move away, yeah, I guess it's also weird leaving your family and friends, going from retired to now moving them away. The family were really supportive. I guess the main one was making sure the kids were comfortable. Yeah, you hear a lot of people go and say the kids hate it. And we found that with Chase. Chase is going into prep. I remember walking in, we went there with his first day of school, and he's looking around and he didn't know any kids. And he was sort of wanting to go and play, but didn't feel comfortable going to play. And you sort of sit there as a parent going, oh, did you make the right decisions? Even a stage where he was grabbing onto the pram, Leo's pram, and didn't really want to go into class, which as a parent, that's a shocking feeling that you've taken him that far away. Within a week, he now goes to school, runs up to his mates, and pretty much doesn't even say goodbye to you. Cooper, the older one, which we were obviously being a little bit older, he was a bit more attached to his mates. But yeah, he teamed up with a few guys pretty quickly, and they figured out that they're going to play in the same football team just around the corner. Leo just turned 2. The only thing that he worries about is his 2 older brothers. It's very hard to make plans. You speak to a lot of people who have moved interstate, and we've had a lot of friends that have moved interstate just with their normal work, and they're probably in the same position that we're in at the moment. You might go for an initial 2-year contract, but then it could be 5, it could be 10, or they could be straight back depending on their work commitments and how their family like it, because ultimately, yes, you move away for work, but if your family aren't comfortable or don't enjoy it as much, you're always going to make that the priority, and if you've got to move back, you've got to move back. The initial move was tough, as others would have done. You move first because of your work, and then you sort of organise stuff. We were here for 2 days, and we had to figure out a house, schooling, and this was before we even got the trade went through, so this was like the pre-planning if everything had went through. So we had to make all these decisions in such a short time because it was a late decision that we made. And then Coop had to stay and finish off school, so Loz stayed back in Melbourne with the 3 boys while I come up here and got to know my new teammates. And I guess that's a weird thing, because you used to coming home and seeing the kids, or picking Coop up from school or Chase from kinder, to then coming home and you got a bare house where you sort of you got no idea what to do. You're only looking after one plate after dinner, and you're only doing one load of washing. I think, yeah, as a leader, you got to learn to adapt. Coming from a side who I'd played a lot of footy with a lot of senior guys around you, where they sort of know what to do. I guess when you're with the younger guys, you've got to sort of teach as much as you can. So it's almost being sort of like a father figure. At home, you sort of got to teach the right thing for the kids. At the club, it's the same thing of playing with blokes that are 18 years old. They were born in '99, which is a long time ago. Definitely not an AFL city. I think it's been pretty good, where playing football for 16 years in Melbourne, every time you open the paper or you turn on the news, that AFL's front and square. It's refreshing, the fact that it's not hitting you in the face every time you turn around. Yeah, I think it'll be a lot better for the family, just the fact that in Melbourne you're always doing functions, whether you had to be a sponsor's function or something like that. There was always, whether it was going to do a clinic somewhere or a mate's coaching a footy team, you got to go and take them for training. Up here, we've sort of made it a focus not to do as much of that. I guess a lot of the time we'll be probably back here with the family and making sure that they enjoy this experience just as much as what we can, because I guess it's a bit of a life experience for them as well. Training, it has been tough at times, just with the humidity and how much you sweat up here. The appealing thing is you always want to go outside. Yeah, especially with 3 kids, if you're stuck inside, well, they like the aircon when it's a hot day, but they always want to go outside in the backyard. We're kind of lucky that the kids are pretty active rather than just sitting inside and watching TV, which I guess in Melbourne we probably did a lot because of the weather for the majority of the time. Moving up here, there was always doubts of whether my body could hold on. I've played 16 years of football, and AFL football is a very physical game, so there was always doubts. And when I came out at a time, they're like, what are you doing? Your body's had its fair share of hits over the years. At this stage, it's 2 years, and depending on what happens with coaching after I finish playing, I guess that will decide how long we stay up here for. Luckily at this stage, everyone's enjoying it up here, and we'll stay here as long as we can.